So their number one BMW, Max Kurbold, powering downhill. Van der Ende looking to try and gain further ground on this lap. And also up front, Tregertha trying to get away from Nikolai Mollemads. It's Ginetta versus Audi for the lead. Whoops, that is Van der Ende being given a squeeze by Lara Kreihammer, and off the road he goes, and hard into the barrier goes Ricardo van der Ende. And that was rather unnecessary, I'm afraid to say. The two of them side by side into Hawthorne.
But Donnelly with a significant lead, and Wojtek right behind, right on the tail of Johnny Herbert, who in turn is looking down Martini's exhaust pipes. Volker Weidler there has his problems trying to sort out David Hunt along the straight, close together, and there's a tremendous accident. Herbert, Wojtek, Griard, and so many cars. I cannot see just how many people are involved in that, but it is virtually the whole of the field behind the first three. A huge impact there with Wojtek touching Johnny Herbert, as already the red flags are out, and Martin Donnelly returns here to the start. Let's see this again in replay. Full speed, yes, a touch between those two. They were ploughed into by Olivier Griard, and that's Gary Evans there having a huge accident all on his own. The spinning red car that you saw coming down there was Andy Wallace in slow motion. You'll see that touch. They both hit the bridge parapet. Nowhere for Griard to go. Mark Blundell somehow misses it all. Wojtek's car rolls down the barrier there. The driver does not actually hit the Armco. Cars everywhere. Johnny Herbert hit by not one but several cars there.
Well, before we look at race 2, a quick look back at what happened in race 1. It was Callum McLeod on pole position. He made a decent start. Nick Tandy made a better one, but Linton Stootley went nowhere until Chris Malliopard arrived on the scene and struck him. Malliopard in turn bouncing off the pit wall, the car spinning up the road, and at the end of the lap, out came the safety car boards. Tandy led McLeod, James Nash third, and Sarah Playfair in fourth. But with track workers on the circuit, the safety car was deployed. Some saw it, some didn't. And Lee Mumford launched himself over the back of Gary Findlay's car and had this horrifying roll. He was okay, but after that, inevitably, the race had to stop. Drivers and more professional than others under the waved yellow flags. And the
sort of roughly what happened. He ran into the back of the car ahead, but let's just see it at real time here. And in fact, that's interesting. Oh, it was a miscommunication effectively, because AS Roma was moving to the right to let him pass on the left.
Yeah, and here we go. Oh, and that's a terrible, terrible accident.
A massive accident, absolutely huge. The car splitting in half, which is what it's designed to do. The engine and gearbox splitting away from the monocoque.
I do not know. Oh, it's a kid. He's going to go off. He's going to hit the wall. Oh, it's rolled over. Oh, that's a big, big shunt. That didn't look like it was going to be as big as that, but that was huge. He just lost it. It went the other way.
So everything now, track has gone red. So it's back to a replay. This is the aftermath of the incident.
Hard to see how it started, but much further down the racetrack than that we saw in the freeze at FP2. So here's the replay. Now watch Loris Hazemans. He didn't do it right this time. He got it wrong again a little bit earlier than we saw from the Lamborghini Gallardo, and then he again just simply a passenger slams. I mean, look at the
big
damage.
difference there, John. He went in more nose first, whereas the Lamborghini went in almost side on.
More speed, sort of right front, took the bulk of that impact back to Simkowiak in the 85 Mercedes, comes out of Sheen Curve.
Sie eben Michael Rutter, den Mann aus Brierley Hill, und da scheppert schon wieder. Ja, tut's da gleich wieder einen Schlag. Geschüttelt, nicht gerührt, könnte man sagen. Josh Brooks nach vorne gegangen, auf die 3, dann auf die 2. Und dann mit einem wilden Highsider wieder. Aber hier ist Gott sei Dank Platz. Ja, aus der Perspektive kann man nichts mehr erkennen.
Not surprisingly, the safety car has been deployed. Robert Volt, the South African, has had a monster accident. Here it is. There was contact between him and Thomas McGregor, and Volt cartwheels into the tyres, and that just acts as a spring and bounces him off, and he keeps on bouncing, keeps on rolling, eventually ends up upside down in the gravel, and as soon as it goes quiet, the marshals spring.
Niemand ernsthaft verletzt. Noch einmal die Kettenreaktion. Die 21 räumt hier brutal Cavallo aus dem Weg. Dessen Auto fliegt unkontrollierbar durch die Gegend. Vor allem einen blöden Winkel steigt er dann auf. Die Streckenposten gehen hier erstmal in Deckung. Bis dahin ist noch okay. Aber jetzt fliegt das Auto unkontrolliert durch die Gegend.